Fantastic pick. Like, just in most regions, we do see Marco as one of the top tier picks, but especially in China, because you are so strong in these team fights, because you can engage fights as well, makes you so strong. And I actually feel like it's a bit of a mistake that Korra can get it once again, but I know they have to ban Zillion if they want to play Zed, so...
Giving him the safe lane, EDG, their early game safety, that already goes to the top lane. We'll have to see what AHQ can keep putting together. Clear Love and EU to pick.
Based on the rest of the bans, they kind of had to give him Maokai.
That's the problem,
The
right?
rise is potentially
so
more
that
fearful.
fight didn't ban Zed.
I guess so. It's not a big
EDG
pick in
대
China, as you pointed out
AHQ
many
이제 뱀픽이
times.
It's not,
시작됐는데요.
I mean, normally split pushing in
지금
China,
퀴즈
it doesn't really
리신,
happen. It's all about these
패,
team fights here, and Zed
라이즈,
already has the problem. He's not super
질리언,
strong in team
아리스타
fights.
이렇게
He's
밴이 됐죠.
extremely good in one-on-one and in
근데
split pushing.
해설은
but
제가
he
오늘은
can be
여기까지
very hard to
하고요.
play team fights here.
그 동영상은
And you,
업로드를
I've
해서
never seen him play
유튜브에
Zed before.
올려두도록
39
하겠습니다.
games, regular season playoffs and regionals,
경기
zero
시청 잘
Zed
하시고요.
picks
He's a
for
utility
you.
laner.
다음에 뵙겠습니다.
Is this you telling Westor, I can beat you on Zed, even though I haven't played it IRC?
He says, let's fight blades for blades. And actually, the Nidalee also getting locked in on the side of AHQ. First time through.
Not a big surprise that we see the Nidalee against the Maokai because it's unbanned. It's something the Prides plays.
Yes.
As far as the Zed pick, though, Yu is known as a jack of all trades as far as mid laners go, big champion pool. And since they did burn that one ban on Lee Sin, this Zed pick is kind of like a pick as a ban, I think, more than anything else.
But it will, I mean, it is a different playstyle for Edward Gaming, because they are this slow early game, get into late game, we have like full scaling comms, normally hyper carry for Name, you have, again, tanky utility top laner, and then of course, we see like this Orianna mid lane for you so often, where you scale into late game and you are so strong in these team fights. This is going to be a different playstyle, because suddenly Yu is going to be a split pusher now, and of course, Ringar for Clear Love, and Twitch login for Name. This is full pick comp.
You're at Worlds, you're going to have to bring this stuff out. You cannot play the same thing every time. If they know EDG is going to just want to sit in lane for late game and try to win a Baron fight, then you're going to be able to get under their skin. And wow, the Blitzcrank will get locked in again.
He had to do it one more time.
I mean, again, it's a snowball support. Get a few good hooks, and suddenly you have a few kills for your team, and he's looking great. You have Talon again, give him a few kills. Nidalee can solo carry games by just split pushing. So AHQ doing the same as we saw against Samson White here. A lot of snowball potential, a lot of high damage champions as well.
I mean, it is a David versus Goliath group, although I do feel like this game is sneakily competitive. It's the bigger David and the slightly smaller Goliath facing up against each other, so maybe it could turn in. Yeah, they picked a lot of champions that have the potential to take over a game.
Yes, and again, EDG, different play style of different comp compared to what we normally see. Name and Twitch as well, it's one of his like best champions, but the way he actually plays it normally is he's the guy engaging team fights. Like, he's in the front line engaging the fight. Now he's gonna have to one-on-one people and pick people off or be around you and then surprise them.
The last time I saw him play Twitch, it was actually in this Zillion Kale composition where he could jump up right next to someone. He can't do that now.
No, he cannot. And it's time right now to do that Twitter thing. Share your predictions for who's going to take this game. Tweet hashtag EDG win or AHQ win to @LOL Esports. And we'll count up your votes shortly as we get into game. We can see their EDG on your screen, ready and raring to go with this composition they're about to kind of enlighten us with.
We'll see whether or not you can become unstoppable. I mean, his Orianna was very good. Zed is a completely different animal right here.
Oh, we'll see it going into game now. We are onto the Rift. EDG on your screen. Name on Twitch. You see him running out of the fountain. Good pickup as we see another Nidalee coming in today. Not too much play for Nidalee coming into the World Championships, but when he, or she I should say, can be locked in, it is going to be in that top lane. Prides hits it up for this game. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Rift.
And this lane matchup here in the mid lane is very, very risky to play for the Talon, because early on it can be very hard for Westor actually to get some poke onto you. You can constantly poke him with the Q, and also if they do get an all-in, suddenly you have the Shadow coming in some extra damage for you here, which means Westor will have to actually jump him to out-trade him in damage, and suddenly you are at risk of getting ganked.
And Rengar isn't a fantastic ganker pre-6, but is a good counter ganker pre-6, or even rather threatening if Westor has burned all of his spells early on. So it's definitely a very, very risky lane if AHQ can't get control of the jungle.
We do see him start with Flash though, and his ward here, so going to be a lot of sustain for Westo in this mid lane. And he's going to need it in the start because you should be able to get a small CS lead, and then once we get the ultis up here and Westo goes back, get his first item, we might see him do the same as we saw, was it Pawn do in earlier game?
Yeah, Pawn was just using his ultimate on cooldown on the talent. That was against an Orianna though, to just continually push Naru out of lane again and again. I don't think that's as easy against Zed. If you try to hop in with an ultimate on him, he's going to ult you right back.
Could be a difficult situation. Well, going to love to see the fight between these two in the mid lane, hopefully with a little bit of jungle pressure as well.
Speaking of that mid lane fight, there's one last thing we're going to mention here, even though it won't come into play right off the bat. Double assassins, and neither one of them are bringing Ignite against each other. So it's very much an offensive lane. And Name's doing his Twitch thing.
Yeah,
here we
seen
go.
this before.
They don't have him hooked up with red buff this
Great read
time,
by Westor, honestly.
But yes, beautiful read. You kind of walked forward a little too soon there.
Yeah, but AHQ have done their homework here, because when Name plays Twitch and there is a lane swap, AHQ started the lane swap themselves. Then he likes to go into this mid lane here, stealth up, get a few hits on the enemy mid laner, and that could actually be enough to simply win the mid lane for you.
It's like we get another lane swap coming into this game. A great mark there, keeps Pride's pretty safe here as he has a bit of brush control for himself. FZZF doesn't want to have it or give him too much control over that. And we begin our laning phase. And Green Tea coming down here in a little bit to help out with the Prides.
I still think it was a pretty good start there by AHQ. Because of the homework they did, Name was a little bit late getting to that bottom lane, and they did set up the lane swap. This allows Blitzcrank to potentially roam.
Yeah, and also down this bottom lane, because Name and FCCF wasn't in the bot lane to actually freeze it up early on, it's been pushing now up towards AHQ, so Pride should be able to pick up some farm.
That's really
There's
critical.
no freeze because they went all in on the mid lane.
However, because Blitzcrank has already shown in the bottom lane, Koro will be able to farm against Garnet Devil in that top lane Maokai for Solution.
Simply trading, then farm on the top laners, but you need the farm on Nidalee. That's the big deal about Nidalee when you do have these lane swaps. If she gets denied early on, she won't become the split pushing monster one-on-one. The fact she can actually get a lot of farm here is very important for AHQ.
Unfortunate ward that Nas is sitting on top of. However, his presence alone is enough to deny Koro here. Ward or no ward.
You're gonna have to play this one slowly. Kind of taunting him out there.
At this point, Nas knows he's sitting on a ward, but he doesn't care because he's using it to deny experience and try and give Garnet Devil a lead in that lane.
Still a win situation for him, and he's gonna be able to hug this one out cleanly. Not knowing where Rengar is right now, though, this could get scary, but he's gonna be in base, so Nas has the good to go.
But we have to talk about Klilov and his Rengar game we saw earlier. I wasn't too impressed either. I mean, Klilov for me is a jungler who's extremely strong in team fights and in terms of like counter ganking. But he's a guy who prefers to just sit and farm. In that case, Rengar would benefit him. But the ganks he did try to pull off in the game earlier today, where we saw Edward Gaming, they weren't very successful, and I wasn't actually too impressed by his Rengar.
I gotta say, Rengar is probably the most polarizing champion, depending on who plays it, right? We've seen Insec on it so far in this World Championship, and it looked absolutely unstoppable.
Yep.
And we've seen some very lackluster Rengars. The champion is like that, though. He's very unforgiving for players who aren't exactly perfect on him or fall behind early.
Let's see if Garnet Devil keeps himself out of a scary position here. Again, Clear Love coming in before 6. They're trying to get something going here for Koro in the top lane, and Clear Love himself.
Best thing about this is he's maxed up his ferocity, so if he lands that first spell, they can lock him down for quite a long time. And he is not showing that he knows where he is. Ooh,
wow.
Whoa!
Okay, that was huge.
Absolute
that was huge.
game sense.
That's all it is. That is just a sixth sense of knowing where he could be. What a read.
Beautiful.
Even if it was as simple as Koro not throwing the saplings, he is now holding the lane. There's too much freeze. Something alerted Garnet Devil. Crazy
Probably
play
just
there.
Koro's play. That's one really underrated thing about solo laners working with their junglers, not having any tells in lane, not overbaiting. At that point, it seemed like Garnet Devil was saying, there's no way Koro would be playing this way. If he didn't have backup, may as well check.
Right, because Koro actually, just before Klilov went to the top lane, he was trying to push out the lane one-on-one, but as soon as Klilov showed himself for Koro, he started backing away, was hoping for Garnet Devil to step forward and hit him. He was like, yeah, you know what, why are you suddenly playing so passive? Are you actually baiting me? End up checking the bush.
Doesn't take it as a sense of weakness, and he knows to keep himself safe. It's going to be a pickaxe buy for him on the first back. We're going to get these lanes swapped out. Looks like Prides is going to have himself a top lane now versus Koro.
It's a pretty good
And
lane
he's
swap
pushed
here.
into the lane already too.
No, but it's been a pretty good lane swap for AHQ in the sense they got farm on Italy. Now they get the one-on-one. Mike's trying to chase for kill here. Force a flash at least.
Absolutely, forces the flash underneath the turret, twisted it down, goes down, one more swipe, coming out from Goro to stop the first blood.
So close, but Pride's really knowing the damage here. Once you apply your passive with Nidalee, your Q all of a sudden does 33% more damage.
Yep.
And you're just jumping in there, almost killing him.
And those Nidalee spears, though, they're so thin now. The slightest of side effects by Core right there. Save his skin.
Save his bark, really. Gets out of that one alive. 7 minutes coming up on the clock. We'll see what Prides can do to continue to mark his territory in the top lane. He does have it warded up. He'll be safe to return. Good invade now. No, or rather, not invade, but safety from Nas as you pushing up in mid.
So, as we talked about like 5 minutes ago when we were setting up the lane here, in this mid lane, we talked about how you should be able to have the pressure. He's been doing a good job. 20 CS lead, forced Westdoor back to base here. He did buy the Brutalizer now, so now we have to see if he wants to try and go aggressive onto you, but it's going to be extremely risky.
Talon's not exactly a great pick against Zed matchup-wise. I mean, Prawley will definitely have his own version of how this mid lane matchup goes, but the Talon, in my experience and visualization, hasn't had huge amounts of success early against Zed. Westdoor is paying the price in the early game.
61 to 43. Brutalizer to Brutalizer as they're going neck to neck in that lane. FZZF starting to get some wards onto the Dragon now as they prep the first objective. Just a 300 gold lead is what separates these two teams, and it'll be quite a fight once we get the teleports coming in.
Look at the first item here from Koro. Just going straight for Ninja Tabi, because on the side of AHQ, it's all physical damage here. I mean, you can just stack armor all day long for EDG, and normally when we see these like full physical comps, they really fall off late game because there's going to be so much armor on the other side of the team, it becomes so hard to actually kill the target.
And that Maokai will be able to stack armor like no other. You can get late game. Plus, he kind of needed the Ninja Tabi to be able to run away from Prides a little bit faster. But they have to get to that late game for it to matter.
Trying to close down on Clear Love, but he realizes people are exiting lane and he needs to exit the jungle as well. Nice arcane smash on the jump in to stop the pounce. Throws a little short on the ball.
And that was very important because once again, he had the passive on his head. He would take more damage, completely denies it, passive with off, and back to just standard farming. Down his bottom lane, Name has actually been holding his own on this Twitch. Normally Twitch, I mean, we did see the lane swap in the start.
Right.
But people don't like to 2v2 with Twitch. It's very risky matchups.
Blitzcrank as well, though, can show some weakness in lane, so it's kind of balancing itself out. Unless Green Tea lands just the right hook, he's not having too much presence in that lane.
Very interesting on both sides.
They have a big,
fix now.
big level advantage.
One missed hook means that pressure is down, though, so they got to make these count. Level 6 is hit. They're both level 5 right now. The silence comes in. Is it the death? The flash flay to stop the flash in coming in from AHQ. FCZF with the plays.
What a close move right there. Name, again an EDG member in the early game, gets away with a sliver of health. Eventually AHQ is going to have to convert one of these kills or they're going to get countered.
Don't know if we're going to see anything of a teleport here. No, it's no teleports coming in because the fight's actually on the teleport in the top lane. Another great arcane smash, but it was before the pounce. They start to execute, and they will take him down. First blood for Nas, but the box goes down, and they're going to try to put Garnet Devil in it. Actually, he is supposed to be safe from it. Green Tea now trying to get the hook, but he gets hooked by FCZF. The cleanup in the bot lane coming in for EDG, and Clearlove gets 2 for himself.
That is exactly the gank that EDG needed. Now Clearlove gets the 2 kills on Rengar to build whatever he wants. Plus, because of the double kill, they can take the Dragon afterwards. EDG has survived the early game and made it to the team fight phase that they know and love with that play.
We say a lot that EDG likes to wait. They can wait, but they're not afraid to make plays if they have a chance to.
No, definitely not. And Clearlove here, with the gang down in bottom lane, because Name was already taken so low from the fight beforehand, he knew that AHQ was going to stay at the tower and keep the pressure going. Walks in, gets the laser, Westdoor is dead.
That's gonna hurt.
No. Where's the Q?
There's no pop.
He got him.
Whoa, yep. And he pulls the R, the ultimate shadow back for safety.
Remember that Westdoor picked his Talon into Zed. He was already locked in by you, and he knew he was going to have a hard time early game. but now also end up giving a kill. Dragon as well for EDG. You have 2 kills on your Rengar. This split pushing machine you will become is going to be extremely scary, especially because Rengar can always join in and suddenly it's 2v1.
Straight up solo cannot happen though in this game, especially with Westor trying to carry AHQ out of this one. I have to go back to that bottom lane though, and one of the reasons ClearLove's gank was so effective. Nope. It's because when they went in, those flashes being burned preemptively were just so critical. It was just a perfect setup for a ClearLove gank. And that's why we said AHQ needs to be able to close out those kills or they're going to start getting countered.
Ooh. Could have a big play here on Garnet. They actually pull an FCZF. He's going to take a few turret shots. No flash available because he gets silenced on that one. Garnet Devil a little too far out, and somehow they change it in their favor for EDG once again.
So it was actually a very good thing for FCCF to be hooked here because he didn't have to use the flash. He got behind Garnet Devil all of a sudden. There was no flash on him. He could just flame, land the hook, and get the kill here. So EDG really showing up in this early game, and once again, because they are playing a bit of a different comp, we should expect them to be more aggressive in the early game. And I talked about ClearLove's Rengar before. He's looking pretty good so far.
Hey, he had a little bit rough in the very early game, but because his first ultimate was so well executed, sometimes that's what makes or breaks a Rengar. The first ultimate they use at level 6.
We were talking about the Rengar builds a little bit earlier. He does start to stack up that flare. He's not going to just sit on the Madrids for now. A lot of pressure towards this top lane. Nas throws down the ulti. He's going to get ClearLove. ClearLove's got full stacks. Uses the ferocity. It looks like they're going to be going in. That's the death mark going down, and Nas hits the floor. Prides over the wall with twisted advance. An unfortunate event, and he goes down as well.
From bad to worse is one of the biggest things we see right there. ClearLove looked like he got a little bit caught out, but EDG, as they always seem to do when we watch their games, collapse faster than the other team and turn every skirmish into a team fight.
It is quite crazy, especially when they start getting ahead this far. You look at Nami to be the AD carry for the team. Hasn't have to be an AD carry or a carry for the team. Everybody else is doing a great job right now. ClearLove coming up huge. We haven't even seen you start the split push yet if he wanted to. And it looks like EDG returns back to lane on both sides. Westor picking up blue buff here. Pink wards on the side of AHQ. Let's see where they start putting them.
And look at the items here for Garnet Devil. Because he knows there's going to be so much action early on, seeing as EDG already has the bleeding and just keep pressuring it, he actually decided to get a crit cloak, even though you normally want to have a BF sword and a pickaxe. But this time around, he didn't have enough gold for it. He figured, I need some items now. It doesn't really matter what I get as long as I'm building towards the Infinity Edge. I have to get some items. He could have gone for a Brutalizer as well and get a Ghostblade as the first item just to get some power.
I'm a little surprised you didn't actually just go for more long swords. The critical cloak is going to need a lot of luck to try and pay off. Interestingly enough, we were checking a lot of rune pages early on in the game. So many players are running one red crit rune. It's this incredibly widespread thing in jungle and at the AD carry position.
And support. Zero.
And support, yeah. Zero on Janna. Runs 1% crit. And I've been looking for the jungle crits today. I've seen it once. 6 games, and it was on a blue buff.
Oh, man, this could be some pain going into Nas. He does have the mark over his head. He goes down from the death mark on you. Fight towards Koro in the top lane now. It's not going to be any pressure from anyone here. These guys are the only teleporters, and they're going face to face. Looks like it's going to be an extended one with the heals.
He needs the lantern.
There he goes. They finally closed in. Jat, like you said before, EDG's always the one to close in first.
Poor Prides. He is just one man against the world right here, and EDG is always bringing back up.
Yeah, and EDG is just walking around in the jungle of AHQ. They've already warded up, so they could just move between these lanes. Whenever there's action in any of the lanes, expect multiple members of EDG to show up.
All right, let's see if Green Tea can make a play coming up here. Looking for the hook. Looks like he's getting as close as he can. Koro on point with his sidesteps today, and he's just going to take that one to the backside.
Gonna deal with the revenge. Miss hook, don't care, I'm just going to hit you with my ult.
EDG waiting. They know they're not hatching a ward on this one. Nas just on the other side. Whoa, he does get the alert system out. Nas gets hooked. He's going to get chewed up by ClearLove, and it looks like Prides tries to get back to lane. They do get FCCF. That's going to be a kill for Garnet Devil if he can finalize this one.
Take it, Green Tea, take it.
That's Yep, the Ignite's going to be coming out, actually.
Yes.
Oh, it's Green Tees. Westor's in the fight. Name gets out of this one alive. He can still be shooting from the outside, but he's way too low. Now goes the kill for Garnet Devil. They're going to be following Green Tee on overdrive. Will he be able to find one more? And it does not look like he will.
Still chasing.
Slow.
He might. He's got flash.
Flash up.
But this could be a tower as well. I mean, a lot of kills all of a sudden for AHQ here. Actually punishing EDG for being a little bit over-aggressive. They were going for the kills. There's a Z in the bottom lane, however.
It all started, though, with that Green Tee hook over the wall. That was a very surprising move there by AHQ. They didn't really seem to be fighting back, and all at once, they catch EDG by surprise.
If there's anything we learned yesterday for AHQ against Samson White, is that Green Tee is the guy to set up all the kills on this Blitzcrank.
He's not afraid to as well. He'll miss a few hooks, and he will keep going in on these fights. And the best part about it is AHQ usually has a few members there to fight it. The worst part about it is if they don't, EDG always gets there first.
I mean, speaking of kill setups, they do have you on the run. Let's see this.
So where's the rest of EDG? How fast do they get here? That's one, missed one. This is going to absolutely turn into a complete dragon test.
He should have flashed and just knocked him up and then hooked him while he was in the air.
Power fist.
I mean, he would have gotten the kill. They could go for dragon then after and get some more gold here. So Green Tee should actually have flashed for this one.
Yeah, a little bit too much faith in his own skill shot skill right there. You can really see AHQ needs to make this one work, though, but unless they get a pick with Blitzcrank, it's going to be real tough for them to set this one up. I saw Clearlove at the very start of that last engagement. The level of damage he is putting out right now as a level 10 Rengar with damage items is rather remarkable. And HQ has work control, though.
Monty said it on the desk. If you want to stop a split push as well, Rengar's a good one to do that, so Prides can't really get himself into a situation to put AHQ back in the game. Could be difficult. This Dragon still getting hit up, half health. He's going to go back home and heal up. Green Tee could be looking for a hook from the side here, but he does not want the tree.
And look at Westor here on the minimap. He's constantly staying at the mid lane. He wants to flank around EDG, trying to get on Tsunami in the background. Here's the fight!
Locks down Prides, gets hit up very early. No more heals can come from him. They shut down a bit of the utility, but EDG is now looking to keep themselves alive. To the outside goes Clearlove, but he's back into the fight with the rest of the team. Great focus coming around from AHQ, but they just cannot close down the health bars because EDG's got way too much damage.
Where was the patience there by AHQ? They went when they did not have to go. They hooked a low health Korra, which just basically pulled them into the team because you're going to explode on them. And I believe Westor blew his full combo while sitting on an exhaust because he didn't want to wait longer time.
And he couldn't really find a target. Again, he was staying at the mid lane. He wanted to flank. He wants to get onto like Name or you maybe. Just try and burst one of the squishy targets. But he ended up actually walking in when the fight was almost over.
Far and ahead already. Let's see this one more time. Green Tee didn't want that grab, but he was forced to pretty much make one.
Yeah, Prides gets completely caught out while they're pulling the wrong target. This fight started on EDG's timeline. It was a really good box as well, but I mean, to burn 3/4 of his combo while sitting on that exhaust, if he waits that long to make it in anyway, at least wait until the exhaust is gone, and they could have gotten a few kills.
Problem for him though was that his team were kind of already like either disengaged or already died, so he was gonna be the next target. So yeah, you can try and wait like for one more second, but do you really want to take the chance? Because if a hook had landed for FCCF, we would have been saying, why didn't he ult?
EDG now 2 Blade of the Rune Kings finished to a point in the game where they love. Baron would be quite easy for them to do if they get the vision down necessary to get that done. Still looking for some type of carry from AHQ. Will it be the split push? Will it be Green Tee's grabs? Because some have been missing, but when they've been hitting, he's not getting the people he wants.
Yeah, the trouble with this as well is AHQ's running that full physical composition. They either needed Prides to get ahead enough to create a split push threat. That's not going to happen now against that Glacial Shroud Maokai. And the team fights, especially since Clearlove can pick up his armor now, are going to be a little bit difficult.
Lots of cooldown in the builds coming from EDG here. We're looking to just keep these fights going. Turn them even more bloody. Pride staying on the back here. He does not want to get caught out if he's farming this one early. He's ready to just wait for it to come to the turret. So it seems like AHQ is ready to buy themselves some time. Give themselves a window to farm back up here and get to a point where they can contest these objectives.
And EDG at the moment just needs to make sure you has a one-on-one in the bottom lane, and he can win it and then take a tower. So that's why you see 4 members from EDG moving to this top lane here, forcing AHQ as well to be there to defend. And then it's all about Westor against you down this bottom side.
Westor's talent has been very underwhelming, I would have to say. And at this point, they're so far behind, especially his talent. He is an all-in champion right now. I don't see how he's going to find an effective use in this match, especially now that FCZF's exhaust is almost back off cooldown again. I mean, he used it so perfectly last fight.
Face of the mountain as well for him, so you have the shield, you even have the lantern shield, and as you mentioned, the exhaust, and
wow, right in onto Westor. He does not have a chance to breathe on that one. FCZF looking to continue. Pride's on to EDG, and it looks like Yu is going to stay alive on that one. Pride gets himself in out of the fight as Yu back to the team with a dark passage, and they somehow, how do they continue these fights? Beautifully done. Left and right, it's just AHQ trying to find a way out of these fights.
4-for-1, you could really see EDG as just taking control of this game now. Every fight they find is a better one. They're the ones picking the fights against the team that needs to get picks. AHQ is just getting completely obliterated.
Everything they focus just disappears in front of their eyes and then reappears as the engage happens from EDG. It's looked perfect so far coming from them. 3-0-4 unstoppable now coming out on Zed. He's doing quite well for himself.
Again, he had a good matchup in the mid lane. He managed to win it. Even killed Westor one-on-one actually in the lane. Right. Getting a top tower now, got a bot tower earlier as well. I mean, the split pushing in starting. And as long as the rest of EDG can make sure they have control of the rest of the map. Let's just see it again, though.
Crazy.
Yeah, flash jump there from Koro, just setting up an easy kill for you. He actually took a fair bit of damage coming in there. And then Green Tea is the one who gets hooked to a retreating Koro, who just ends up helping out with the initiation. At that point, EDG is just piling on, everyone collapsing and making a team fight. Although,
that's a pick.
Very nicely done. Something to make it here.
Late.
So yeah, and again, it's also too early in the game to actually go for Baron here, even though you did manage to get a kill, and also it was just onto the support. So EDG managed to get a kill, but can't really do anything with it other than place a few wards.
This is going to be tough if AHQ gets pushed back to their base. Oh my gosh, not even in the base right now, and it's going to be EDG that finds a pick for themselves. AHQ cannot let these things happen.
That is a ridiculously fed Rengar, I think is what we saw right there. He basically soloed the solo laner right there in Westor from stealth. Look out.
A little bit out of hand on that one. As I was just saying, it's going to be tough for AHQ once they get pushed back to the turrets. Their wave clear is not immaculate, or not too great, I should say. And they're going to be pushed in quite hard. The static shiv trying to be built up by Garnet Devil to supplement that just a little bit.
And again, right now, if EDG wants to, they can just split up in all the lanes. Send you in one lane. You have Koro as well. Like, put Koro in the bottom lane so you do have the Baron pressure where he can teleport up and join in. Have you push the top lane, and then you put Nami in the mid lane. He push out the wave, and then him and Clearlove together can just go to either top lane or the bottom lane and just find a pick. I mean, you can dive people, you can find them in the jungle because you have all the wards placed. There are so many possible picks for EDG here.
You got a lot of options when you got a 10,000 gold team.
And it works out, especially when you're so far ahead. If Clearlove doesn't get the engage he wants, he just finds a dark passage from FCZF. They're out, and they try it again.
So I'm just going to think about the group as a whole right now, because everyone expects Samsung, White, and EDG to make it out of this group. AHQ needs to pull off an upset to be able to come back out of this one. They're going to be sitting at 1-2. Based on what happened against Dark Passage, they're probably going to beat them again.
Right.
The thing that AHQ needs to be asking themselves during this game is, where are the windows for us to beat EDG the next time they play? Because that's all they need if they want to be able to come out of this group.
Slow pushes into that bottom lane now. Trying to get this down so EDG can get themselves a nice Baron attack. Oh my gosh, on to Westor. Oh, definitely going to have to be a better lane matchup if they want that face-off to go any better, Jack. This is going down way too in favor of EDG. A good pickup there by AHQ, though.
Right, but it's also just because everything has gone horribly wrong for Westor in this game. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. Zed can just snowball out of control here. EDG not able to get a tower. Oh, Green Tea with a flash.
Yeah, as you said, just a horrible game for Westor. Everything going against him. He got chased down. They were able to collapse, but they still lost a lot of turret pressure. To get back to their windows of opportunity, though, they still have some individual playmaking, but you can see they might actually be pushing a little bit too hard and going a little bit too far in that sense. I think you need a playmaker. Don't make every single player the guy who would try and solo carry the game, because then you don't actually have any team cohesion, and that's really hurting them in this game, I think.
And it's really been a problem if we look at like picks and bans, how every single team going into the games against AHQ can say at least 2 of our bans will go to West Door. And then if you pick the third, like Assassin out of Z, TF, and obviously Fizz, I don't know if we should call TF so much of an assassin, but still one of his like main picks where he can actually carry games, it becomes impossible because the rest of the members on AHQ, they don't pull any bans, at the moment at least.
Right.
So there's too much focus on Westor, meaning he has to pick something like a Talon and just try and carry the game.
And was he trying to replicate today, right? He's only really played Talon once in the 23 games of their season, so to come out and say, maybe we can just keep that pressure on using my ultimate every minute, did not really work out for him. So they're definitely reaching and grabbing for a few of those things, like you said, that they're looking for.
Oh, here we go, another Rengar. He showed that pink ward. It's done for. I actually do have to point out, though, again, because they played so many games during the regular season, and he just never played the Zed.
That's too
showing the depth of his actual champion pool, because he's played very well on Zed.
Oh, he's been great, to be honest, but it also shows how we had some time between the last few games of the season before World start, where people could start picking up new champions. And Zed, everyone knew he was going to be a big pick coming into Worlds, and when you have a mid laner like you, and just when you're on like these professional teams, you have to be able to play like these top tier picks.
And it's a level of training. I mean, we even saw Darius pick up Rumble heading into the World Championship as well. These teams did have a lot of time to prepare. And here we go, fight for EDG. They get a nice catch.
Nas locked up pretty much. He's forced to jump out of the fight. Everything happening in defense here for AHQ as they start to go down. EDG closing in, and the stranglehold now on down. They get clear love this time. He will be going down to the turret. They are forced out of their bases. EDG kind of takes their side of the map over.
They're actually trading 1-for-1 here, and a lot of damage onto EDG, so they won't really be able to push anywhere. Once again, a hook from Green Tea onto the tower.
A pretty slick hook, as you said right there. The main reason that one turned around. Clear Love, because he was getting so far ahead, continued to build those damage items, meaning when he did get pulled into the turret, he was able to get bursted down pretty quickly. So a little sigh of relief from AHQ there. That was a great ultimate by Westor. He did a ton of damage to the team. It's the main reason EDG had to back out.
This could be one of those windows. Give them a time to breathe. AHQ could possibly set up their wards. They definitely have to clear the plethora around Baron Pit right now that EDG has. So if AHQ can get themselves into position, you can definitely start to whittle away at this gold lead that EDG has right now, around 11,000. It's going to be tough. We still have a lot of time to go in this game, according to what stands in the base of AHQ.
And as long as they can keep wards in their own jungle around this Baron here, and also keep the Baron warded, of course, they might actually be able to buy some time. But if you do look at their comp and what we talked about earlier with the full physical, against a Maokai, again a Rengar fantastic late game, you're not really going to outscale. And this Nidalee pick has not been able to do anything in a one-on-one because Pride has been so far behind. So AHQ just have to try and go for these picks, and they need to hope that EDG is going to play like over-aggressive. But they're normally a team who is extremely strong in the late game and won't make any mistakes in the late game.
Right, even if they're looking like they're doing a big dive, which they're willing to do, it's usually much more calculated than the other teams in China for sure. That's definitely their big strength. Even vision control. They definitely bought a ton of wards yesterday in the game against White. This one, however, they're going to be walking through that one ward. Nas got to run
Kill
real
that
fast,
pink ward
though.
again. Yes, 2 ultis, 2 pink wards.
That's efficiency right there. 2 ultis, 3 pink wards, perhaps. They need to get a little bit better vision control. They realize that one gets spotted out. They do have the 4 sweepers, but they need to get some more forward pink wards, actually. FCZF probably needs to move his a little bit further up if they want to get full control and continue to press around this Baron Pit.
You can see they're pretty risk-averse with the objective fights. They want it out of the objective. They want their pick.
Why don't they just go top lane at the moment? I mean, they have wards to spot AHQ. The top lane is pushing in, and this mid lane wasn't pushed. If you go like 20 seconds ago, they could have rushed straight for top lane, picked up a tower instead. Starting the Baron now.
They're forcing AHQ into a team fight. Blitz Nidalee without a setup isn't necessarily a great fight. They still need to get a catch of some type, though. It's on FCZF since Clear Love's ultimate is down.
Ooh. FCZF throwing on face of the mountain. He thought he was going to be grabbed by Green Tea, but he's not liking to grab any of the non-priority targets right now. I think he's got it in his head that he's zeroing in on Name, trying to make sure Clear Love gets locked out and really peel for Garnet Devil here. What will they be able to do? It's looking pretty grim.
And they need ulti ready for clear love first. I mean, we've seen 2 being used already. Only managed to get some pink wards, couldn't actually get onto anyone else from AHQ. And because there's no cooldown reduction for clear love, it does take a while for him to get ulti ready. Now it's up and they're going for it.
The teleport coming in from Koro, and he gets right onto Garnet Devil. That's going to be a lockdown from you, and they just surprise AHQ by showing up behind him and starting the party.
Just a devastating fight. Home guard teleports. That's one way of getting in behind the team. They had the war control. HQ was trying to control the Baron, and they got wrecked.
Over the wall we go. Clear Love says, hang on, I'm going to try. Make sure nobody else comes from this side. I'm looking for Westor. We're looking for Nas right now.
1v5?
Yeah, it's like they get him. Westor goes in a little early.
Yeah.
Nas on the other side. Is he going to try to do much? And it looks like he's just going to hang out on the red buff for now. No vision to see.
Again, you have exhaust here. You have the lantern shield as well. You have face of the mountain. It is so hard for Westor to actually find a target.
They're all trying. Everyone on HQ is trying their own version of the 1v5 right now. They're all thinking pentakill.
It's called Gladiator.
But it doesn't quite work out that way.
Go in and see if you can come out alive.
That's
so
just
far,
desperation
not working.
speaking.
Absolutely.
Total desperation.
Trying to do what they can. The timer's still relatively low, but it's really not something that's in their favor. They're still dead. It's still EDG picking things up, and they are starting to run amok on the map. Let's see this one more time. Whoop. It was that fast.
That was the forest. Anyway, here's the fight. And it's just a beautiful setup with the teleport in behind them. And as soon as you lock down just one target, the rest of EDG can follow up and get all the kills.
First pick Maokai. Definitely paying off for them right here.
It is such a good pick for EDG. They love to team fight. You get hard engaged. And Koro is playing it really well here. So I feel like, again, going into the later stages of the group stage now, I mean, probably have to consider banning it.
And that's something that we came up with when we were watching Koro, when we did our research, is that great comms and his synergy in team fights is ridiculous. He said, guys, I'm coming in, and I'm going to be right behind them.
I love the synergy in EDG's item builds right now as well. Triple Randwin's Omen against the full physical team. Also triple Ghost Blade because they want to take down those targets.
I love you so much, Green Tea. Oh my god.
Yet another one.
I mean, that was beautiful.
It was a really nice hook, knowing where they're going to be coming for the setup.
The boom boom blitzcrank getting in the good shots when they count, but man, is it too little, too late. EDG is looking to pressure this bottom turret now with Baron on hand. It's going to be pretty tough for AHQ to defend.
And this game, I mean, even though EDG has been so far ahead, they've not been able to take down the towers really because, again, they don't have a comp to siege.
Yeah.
Twitch is probably the worst AD carry, or one of the worst to do it. Zed, of course, you can't really do it with him. Which means EDG has just been looking for the picks, and every time they got a pick, either they could, I mean, they've been able to take like 1 or 2 towers off it, but that's been it.
Well, they've definitely been able to take a substantial gold lead as well. And the objectives that aren't turrets. Many dragons, many barons, many blue buffs.
Pink wards.
Yeah, many pink wards. I think it's a matter of time. They have a whole bunch of armor.
For sure.
That is building up there.
2 frozen hearts, doesn't hurt.
Yeah, Frozen Heart on FCCF.
Not gonna be doing too much damage to either the top lane or the support right now. And then you have everybody diving in, pretty much zeroing you out instantly. They're not even building armor past those Randuins. They don't need it. So far ahead in this game right now, 62.8 thousand to 46. This is where they need to close it out, though. Teams this far ahead need to start definitively closing out games because they get caught like this. Can EDG close in, though? Maelstrom keeping a lot of damage off of Koro right now. He is huge.
A very, very scary tree right now. I mean, that's what happens when a Maokai can itemize only one main resistance because he's such a tanky beast already. You give him more efficiency with those tank stats and he will become that big.
Garnet Devil only facing you on that one. Keep himself alive, has to flash out of that, so it's not going to be as safe the next time they get the engage. FCCF on the front line takes a bit more damage than he wanted to. But Koro can stand there, so he's going to be the front line for the team, taking the culling as well. That'll be regened nicely by Baron.
Remember, there's no ult for you here, so if AHQ wants to fight it, this is the time. Just try and go for it. Hope the Zed can do anything in the fight. In the end, though, EDG managed to disengage, the ulti is ready fairly soon, and then it's up to them to go for the kills.
Green Tea does have his flash up. I'm ready for the hook. Just waiting for it to come in.
I mean, what are you going to hook him into? Your inhibitor? The inhibitor's not going to help. Prize gets caught.
Gotta try something. Then next to the Nexus turrets now. He does get Coal Road, though. Not the one he wanted. And it looks like they're going to be able to get through inhibitor. That is you all the way to the back line on a Garnet Devil. And he does get the E hit as well to add the extra damage. Cancels him out. And it looks like it's going to be the Nexus for EDG.
When it's all told, even though they weren't able to siege that well, it's still just 36 minutes. They definitely got a whole bunch of kills. And they close out AHQ.
28-10, 36 minutes into the game. A beautiful game for Clear Love on Rengar. And it's going to be EDG taking down AHQ.
And in this game, we actually have to look at the early game and say,